A new week, 4 more topics selected by you, a whole new conversation. Welcome to 360 Speedway. Hello, I'm Derek Smith. Welcome back to 360 Speedway HQ. Thank you for tuning in once again to support what we do. A huge thank you and a sincere thank you to every one of you who's taken some time in the last week or so to comment or respond to any of our social media output and our content on YouTube. We feel much more loved in the last 7 days. There has been the most reaction, the most comments, the most interaction so far on the journey of 360 Speedway. We're so grateful. Thank you very much. And hopefully the interaction makes it more fun for you as well. So keep doing what you've been doing, folks. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back. We're already on episode 7. Another week, a whole new conversation, and another fresh lineup for you to tackle the subjects that you have voted for. So we'll get into the subjects imminently. Let me first of all do some introductions and tell you the cast, the expert cast that we have tonight. So first up, after a week's respite, he's only missed 1 week. He's been ever present otherwise. Welcome back to the 360 HQ, Stuart Robson. Welcome back, Robbo.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you back in this saddle once again, Stuart. Look forward to your company tonight. Next up, third successive week since he made his 360 Speedway debut, Nigel Crabtree. Welcome back, sir.
Cheers, Derek.
You enjoying your newfound fame, Nigel?
Yeah.
and last and certainly not least tonight, a late rider replacement change on the 360 Speedway lineup this week, but nonetheless a very welcome guest. And given some of the subjects we're going to cover tonight, his insight and proximity to some of those subjects is going to be invaluable. Welcome, Glasgow team manager Cami Brown. Welcome to 360 Speedway, Cami.
Hi, Derek. Welcome. Happy to be there. And welcome everyone for listening.
Excellent. So collectively, this week's Handlebar Heroes. Okay, as we normally do, a quick disclaimer that simply to say, as we do week on a week, that all of the views and opinions expressed on 360 Speedway are absolutely ours and ours alone, and not at all representative of any Speedway association that any of us have. Cami Brown, we had, I don't know if you've seen it, we had Simon Lambert on last week, and we were poking fun at Simon that given his involvement in the sport, he probably had to watch his P's and Q's a little bit more than the rest of us did, but he was good value, and I'm sure you will be as well, Cami. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
I watched a bit of it, Derek. It was good.
All right, let's get underway then with Fans Pulse Lap 1s tonight. So we're kicking off. So 4 subjects you voted. We're going to discuss Fan Pulse Lap 1 tonight. We're kicking off with Speedway's uniqueness. What is Speedway's uniqueness? So just to tee this up. So we're all self-confessed Speedway fans. We have been for our lifetimes. But why? What makes Speedway such a terrific sport to follow and be part of? What is Speedway's uniqueness? Stuart Robson, you've had a week off, so we'll bring you in first of all. What's your immediate thoughts, Stuart? What makes Speedway unique?
A lot of things. There's good camaraderie between all the riders and fans. There's always good banter, and it's because it's always been classed as a family sport. It's always welcoming to everyone. It's not like there's rivalry. It's friendly rivalry though. It's not like the football rivalry where people start fighting with each other because the shirt's a different colour and that kind of thing. So it's always a good thing, and it's quite unique in a lot with sports these days. But obviously the sport itself, the riding itself, when you turn left, there's no brakes. No gears. We have the engine's a single cylinder 500cc engine with just a clutch. You drop you twist the throttle, drop the clutch, and off you go. You only turn left, you can't turn right, and that's it really. You have to avoid fences, riders, the curb, and it's such a short short span of roughly a minute, depending on the track, of sort of action really.
You've got to see it to believe it, Stuart. I think that, but you're right. Some of the things you picked up on, the family friendly focus. It's always been like that throughout my whole lifetime, and if that ever changed, then it would be a whole different experience, a whole different sport. Nigel, what about yourself? You've been involved in the sport for many years. What makes Speedway unique to you, Nigel?
Probably Stuart's probably covered it all, really. The only other thing, you sit there and you see the old circuit, don't you? Unlike a lot of the sports, your motorbike sports, your car sports, it's on a circuit what's maybe 3 or 4 mile long. Speedway, you see the whole action. And again, Stuart's probably just covered it all. It's always has been a family sport. It's getting a little bit, let's say, maybe a bit too expensive for some families. I don't know. It's losing that a little bit, I think. But, it's obviously everybody could do with a few more people going to watch it. But you're not telling me somebody with a piece of wood in their hand knocking a ball around on a table is more entertaining than 4 men going round a track. 40 foot wide, 70 mile an hour, no brakes. You're not telling me snooker's more entertaining than that. I think just got to sell it better, and how that is, I don't know.
100%, Nigel. I agree with every word you said. I spent my whole lifetime telling friends and acquaintances who don't know anything about Speedway, how can you get excited about going to watch a game of cricket or even, dare I say, a game of rugby or football or something? Because to me, it is what it is, and I'm not going to say for 1 second those sports don't have their merits, but compare that to what you've just described, Nigel, and it's a no-brainer for me. Cami Brown, let's bring you in. You've been a Speedway fan all of your days, Cami. You and I are much the same age, so we've been over the same course for the same length of time. Why does Speedway stand out to you, Cami?
With Stevie Lawson, who the guys all know, and I think it's a sport you can actually meet your heroes. I got to meet Stevie quite early on, and you think they're these, superstars, and they're just normal guys that do a fantastic job in a sport that, as Nigel touched on, it deserves to have a lot more people going and watching it, because when you take new people, it's a bit Marmite. Some of them, it's not for them, but the ones that like it straight away always seem to go back, and we just got to find a ways, as the boys said, of attracting more people to the sport, because it's a wonderful sport and it's an accessible sport where you can actually maybe get to meet the riders and get behind the scenes a little bit and get into the nitty gritty. But to me, I love it. It's my I like a lot of sport, but it's by far my favourite sport. Always will be.
It's interesting. All of you had said things that I had written down or taken notes of. It's a stadium-contained sport. It's a kind of simple, raw form of motorsport. That's a good thing. It's family-friendly. It's fast-paced. You only get 60 seconds of action, and then there's a break, and another race comes along. That's quite a good thing. The riders, the stars of the show, right on cue. We've got a new star of the show, Cami.
This is my little live tiger. She's 28 years old, believe it or not.
28 years old.
She's 28 years old.
My goodness.
She's one of the oldest cats in UK.
What is her name?
And she's called Sassy.
Sassy has stolen the show.
She sometimes watches the BSN with me.
Does she?
If I'm on screen, she runs away.
I've been completely upstaged by Sassy. I'm quite happy to be. And the stars of the show, the riders are readily accessible. And that's quite a powerful thing, because you can't go to a Premiership football match and expect to be having a pint with the star striker at the end of the match, etc. And another thing about Speedway that I do like is, I've been lucky enough to do a little bit of radio and things over the years, and people will ask me, what is it about Speedway? Well, apart from the things that we've already said out loud, Speedway's got it's got every bit as much or as many talking points and dramas and and what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? You know, we read pages and pages of football gossip, and Speedway's got every bit as much of that going for it as well. To your point, Nigel, I do think it still remains, unfortunately, the best kept secret, right? It's the profile of the sport. I do think that if you throw enough people at Speedway for the first time, a good number of them are going to stick with it. I'm confident about that, Nigel.
But I don't know, your Barrians and all these people, how have they got the darts, the snooker? How have they got it where it is? The Speedway needs somebody like that to get it up there.
But I think the one flaw in Speedway's offering, if you like, is its susceptibility to the weather. Right? You can't plan anything with super confidence, unless you were operating in California or somewhere. Snooker, darts, these events are going to be on 100%. Those events are going to happen. Television can get behind it, sponsors can get behind it, fans can get behind it. You know, I'm thinking no further back to last Saturday at Glasgow. We've had 3.5 weeks of wall-to-wall sunshine. The rain came on Saturday and abandoned the biggest meeting of the season at Glasgow, the SGP2 qualifier. And you can't plan with confidence around Speedway, I think. Robbo, would you agree with that point?
I also think, Derek, that Speedway's, this will be a bit controversial now, somewhat like this. It's very much a closed shop, and some of the people at the top, they want to stay at the top, and they don't want people getting involved that might take it further, in my opinion. And that's been like that for years.
That was the word I was looking for earlier, Nigel. Controversy. It's got as much controversy and talking points as any other sport. But they
try and keep it to themselves. You don't want somebody coming in making it successful. They want to be the people to make it successful. But unfortunately, they're not capable of.
Stuart, I'd be interested in your view on this. I quite often say I've been out to Poland, as I'm sure all of us have, and it's a completely different scene over there, right? The crowds are magnificent, the atmosphere is magnificent, the supporter interaction is magnificent. But I sometimes I've thought over the years, if British Speedway ever cracked it and suddenly we had 10, 15,000 people at every meeting, it would, I'm not saying that would be a horrible thing, but it would change. It would change the Speedway scene that we've known and loved and been brought up on, right?
It probably would, yes. It would. It's one of them. I mean, until it happens, you wouldn't really know how it changes, but I would imagine it would change it. I know in Poland, you don't have the sort of after the meeting bar and stuff to go to at the stadiums when I've been out there. I don't know what it's like now because it's been a long time since I was there, to be fair. But I know I used to just pack my things down and have a shower and then go home afterwards. I didn't see anybody afterwards or anything like that. And whether it's still like that, I don't know, or if there's the riders go back to hotels and do like a press conference afterwards or something. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen out there now, because it is sort of so. It's very, very professional, and they do that kind of thing. So it would be interesting to see if that kind of thing would happen over here. Actually, if it did get that popular again.
Cami, there's another uniqueness point for Speedway, because not every sport allows supporters to have reason to travel abroad, right? I've been to multiple European countries to watch Speedway Grand Prix, etc. There's not every sport allows supporters to get involved in that way either.
No, definitely not. And talking about the friendly rivalry, when you go, Cardiff's not there anymore. But the first time I went to Cardiff and you're walking through the streets and all the supporters of all the different teams are all friendly. It's a unique sport. It's a totally, you get people from different clubs come up to speak to you that you've never maybe spoken to before because you're wearing your team's colours and there's no animosity. It's brilliant. It's just, there's nothing like it for me. It's a wonderful sport. But I mean, I think there's some clubs definitely out there trying to promote it to a different level. I know at Glasgow they try so hard to get the youngsters involved, and that's got to be the future. When you look around a lot of the tracks in UK, it's dominated by older people. I mean, I'm getting older, and and it's just got to be done in small pieces.
Yeah. So they are 360 speeders. We're probably preaching to the fully converted, but hopefully you recognise and agree with some of the uniqueness points that we've surfaced on this podcast about Speedway. But anything that you think we've missed out, anything you want to call out or that we failed to, please drop us a line and tell us, in your views, why you think Speedway is unique.